Chapter 8. The Evidence of the Italian. And now, Piero, with a twinkle in his eyes, we will delight the heart of Mbach and see the Italian. Antonio Foscarelli came into the dining car with a swift, cat-like tread. His face beamed. It was a typical Italian face, sunny-looking and swarthy. He spoke French well and fluently, with only a slight accent. Your name is Antonio Foscarelli? Yes, monsieur. You are, I see, a naturalized American subject? The American grinned. Yes, monsieur. It is better for my business. You're an agent for Ford Motor Cars? Yes, you see, a voluble exposition followed. At the end of it, anything that the three men did not know about Foscarelli's business methods, his journeys, his income, and his opinion of the United States and most European countries seemed a negligible factor. This was not a man who had to have information dragged from him. It gushed out. His good-natured, childlike face beamed with satisfaction as, with a last eloquent gesture, he paused and wiped his forehead with a handkerchief. So you see, I said, I do big business. I am up to date. I understand salesmanship. You have been in the United States, then, for the last 10 years and on and off? Yes, monsieur. Ah, well, do I remember the day I first took the boat to go to America, so far away? My mother, my little sister. Poirot cut short the flood of reminiscences. During your sojourn in the United States, did you ever come across the deceased? Never, but I know the type. Oh, yes. He snapped his fingers expressively. It is very respectable, very well dressed, but underneath it is all wrong. Out of my experience, I should say he was the big crook. I give you my opinion for what it is worth. Your opinion is quite right, said Poirot dryly. Ratchet was Cassetti, the kidnapper. What did I tell you? I have learned to be very cute, to read the face. It is necessary. Only in America do they teach you the proper way to sell. You remember the Armstrong case? I do not quite remember. The name? Yes. It was a little girl, a baby, was it not? Yes, a very tragic affair. The Italian seemed the first person to demur to this view. Ah, well, these things happen, they happen, he said philosophically, in a great civilization such as America. Poirot cut him short. Did you ever come across any members of the Armstrong family? No, I do not think so. It is difficult to say. I will give you some figures. Last year alone I sold, monsieur. Pray confine yourself to the point. The Italian's hands flung themselves out in a gesture of apology. 1,000 pardons. Tell me, if you please, your exact movements last night from dinner onwards. With pleasure. I stay here as long as I can. It is more amusable. I talk to the American gentleman at my table. He sells typewriter ribbons. Then I go back to my compartment. It is empty. That miserable John Bull, who shares it with me, is away attending to his master. At last he comes back. Very long face as usual. He will not talk, says yes or no. A miserable race. But English, not sympathetic. He sits in the corner, very stiff, reading a book. Then the conductor comes and makes our beds. Number 4 and 5, murmured Poirot. Exactly, the end compartment. Mine is the upper berth. I get up there, I smoke and read. The little Englishman has, I think, the toothache. He gets out of the little bottle of stuff that smells very strong. He lies in bed and groans. Presently I sleep. Whenever I wake, I hear him groaning. Do you know if he left a carriage at all during the night? I do not think so. That I should hear. The light from the corridor one wakes automatically, thinking it is a customs examination at some frontier. Did he ever speak of his master? Ever express any animus against him? I tell you, he did not speak. He was not sympathetic. A fish. You smoke, you say? A pipe? Cigarettes? Cigar? Cigarettes only. Poirot proffered one, which she accepted. Have you ever been to Chicago? Inquired Mbach. Ah, yes, a fine city, but I know best New York, Cleveland, Detroit. You have been to the States? No? You should go. Poirot pushed a sheet of papers across to him. If you will sign this and put your permanent address, please. The Italian wrote with a flourish. Then he rose, his smile as engaging as ever. That is all? You do not require me further? Good day to you, messieurs. I wish we could get out of the snow. I have an appointment in Milan. He shook his head sadly. I shall lose the business. He departed. Poirot looked at his friend. He has been a long time in America, and he's an Italian, and Italians use a knife, and they are great liars. I do not like Italians. Shot of Savoy, said Poirot with a smile. Well, it may be that you are right, but I will point out to you, my friend, that there is absolutely no evidence against the man. And what about psychology? Do not Italians stab? Assuredly, said Poirot, especially in the heat of a quarrel. But this is a different kind of crime. I have that little idea, my friend. That is, this is a crime very carefully planned and staged. It is a far-sighted, long-headed crime. It is not, how shall I express it, a Latin crime. It is a crime that shows traces of cool, resourceful, deliberate brain. I think an Anglo-Saxon brain. He picked up the last 2 passports. Let us now, he said, see Miss Mary Debenham.